my parents, in their later years, they both developed Alzheimer's disease. And I really didn't know that that was going to be the start of the Memory Center, because, of course, when we were dealing with their illness, we really struggled. Even as connected as I was to the medical establishment, we couldn't find anybody that really knew a lot about the disease or the medicines that you need to use. And it was very frustrating. And we did okay with my dad, but we didn't do very well with my mother. She became psychotic, and it was a mess. So I sort of suppressed that for a while. And then late in my career, I think everybody knows, I developed this little bit of a tremor in my left hand. And if anybody sees me, they'll see it. And it was kind of a sign to me that I wasn't going to be able to do heart surgery for very much longer. So I struggled a little bit with what to do, but finally ended up kind of re-exploring options. And I came up with the idea of starting the Memory Center. And my wife's first reaction was, "This is the worst idea I've ever heard." I'm keen on it. She actually made me sign a long affidavit that said that clinic, and at the bottom it said, "And I want you to know that divorces are expensive," because she actually was the catalyst for it being successful. The first day, there were two of us. We opened up with 800 square feet over at Eastover Medical Park. And we were nonprofit at that point. I had been fired by Novant and skipped over by Atrium because they knew that we couldn't make any money doing this. So they didn't want to risk it. And that first day, we had no idea what it was going to look like. Actually, it was much more profound than that, because I think that I understood about the disease. I understood how it was going to affect. I understood the stages. I understood about the medicines, but that wasn't where this was going to take us. And we did not realize how we would be affected by the experience of the caregivers and how it would change our lives. So we started with two people. We hired Margaret, and then Robin, Chris, and then it started, all of a sudden the phone started ringing. And Mary was answering the phone, and she did everything at the time. She ran the money, she ran the culture, she ran everything. And it was funny because she would come in and say, "Chuck, there's a family that really need to see you, and they're really struggling." And I would say, "Well, now, all right, well, have them make an appointment." And she would say, "No, I told them to come in today, so here they are." This guy just drank the Kool-Aid, and it was that bond that we had, that those people called, she listened, and we know that now. One of the reasons why we've had any success is because the person at the phone, like Aubrey, when people call and she's kind and she listens, our job is easy because you already know what we're about. And so that's part of it. So right now, we've gone from 2 people and no patients to probably 1,200 patients, 20 employees. And we get 40 new patients a month. And right now we have 70 patients in line to schedule because we don't have any time. So we are desperately, I won't say desperately, we are strategically looking for a new doctor. And hopefully we'll just keep doing what we're doing. But the real experience, it's probably been one of the most rewarding. It's the most rewarding part of my career, even the fact that I did heart surgery. Now this is a lot harder than heart surgery. Heart surgery is easy because you come in, you do an operation, people get well and go home and say nice things about you. Here, half the time they don't even say nice things about you. So and also these days are long. people that work here. These days are long, they're emotionally hard because we share the ups and downs that y'all have and experience. And, I just spent, 20 minutes with Robin and Heather on how to figure out how to help a family that's really struggling. And so that's basically the story, how we get started and where we are now. Where we're going in the future, I don't know.
That's great. Thanks, Dr. Edwards, for the history. I know everybody appreciates it. And for those who've heard it before, it's always nice to hear it again. Outside of the history, how would you best describe the impact that Memory and Movement Charlotte has had on people's lives? And I'm talking about, not just the folks who have been diagnosed with something, but also the people who are involved in the caregiving of that individual.
Well, what I would say, as far as the people that work here, as I said, the days are long, they're emotionally hard, but there's a bond between us, almost like the Marine Corps, that, once you're in on this and you understand what we're trying to do and understand the need, then it's almost like you have to do it. I think that you take almost all the nurses, Margaret, she's been a nurse for, 40 years. I won't rat her out on her age. She'd kill me. But here's Shelley, Kelly, Chris. Chris doesn't need to work, but she's here every week. Only because she's attached to the patients. She comes in and she's asking, what happened? Who's doing this? Or she's in my office all the time saying, you got to do this. It's like having, 8 sisters that feel like they can come in and tell you what to do. Working with Eris has been, he's the best partner that anybody could have. He's brilliant, cares deeply about the patients. And he and I share this bond. We love talking about the medical aspects of this. Sanjay, when he came, I don't know anyone that is as good with his patients and as knowledgeable as he is. So we are very blessed to have this team. And what keeps us together is that we know that this is not for everybody. Not everybody can do this. But if you're in on it and we kind of, prop each other up, or the nurses will come and say, I need to do better on something. It is like having about 9 sisters giving you a hard time. As far as the families are concerned, we can't help anybody unless we have expertise. All compassion begins with competence. So the more expertise we have, the more potential we have to help the patients and the families. And so we're constantly trying to get better, trying to make, before COVID, I would get probably 6 yellow stickers on my desk. And those are lives that are coming apart because of what the patient is doing. During COVID, sometimes we get 15 of those. So those are calls, those are come in. So this never ends. This keeps going. And one of the things that's nice, of course, is when people appreciate what you do and they understand the effort that's made. Yes, I think that the impact on the people that work here, and then also the impact that we have when we help families, and then learn back from them how much it's meant that they've been a part of what we're doing. This is all, it's all, in real time. We're learning in real time.
That's great. Thank you very much. I've got one more question for you, and then I've got a few for Janet. Dr. Edwards, you hired Janet as the executive director in October of last year. How has that transition been, and how's the impact that you've seen on the practice so far since she's come on board?
Well, if there's one thing that was a natural, it was Janet coming to work with us. Of course, we worked with her when she was the COO at the Ivy, And it just happened to be that when Connie left, it was almost a perfect match for us. And, I've told her several times that everything in her life, childbirth, working for the bank, working for the Ivy, solving problems at the bank, prepared her for being our executive director and dealing, being the executive director of a nonprofit that is medical is a real challenge because we are hampered as physicians about fundraising. I can't take care of your mother and then come to you and say, I want you to give me money to keep going here. It's not how it works, because it can't be that, quid pro quo. So Janet has challenges. But when she came in, she took all of the parts of the operation and dug down deep and found out what was working, what didn't. And over time, we've eliminated the things that haven't worked. But I can safely say to you that if Janet hadn't come right now in August of 2021, we would not be in business. We would not be doing this. And it's only because there's no one else that had this job that could live up to all the challenges. I am incredibly indebted to her for what she's done. And the financial, we have almost doubled what we get paid for what we were doing, almost doubled it. So our financial security is really, 1,000% better, and our future is 1,000% better. So I can't tell you how impressed I am and with how thankful I am and the gratitude I have for her, because otherwise we're not in business.
Thank you. Janet, we touched on this a little bit in the intro that I did for you, but I'd just like to hear a little bit more from you with regards to what it is about your personal and professional experience that drew you to this role.
Well, thanks, Boyd, and thank you, Dr. Edwards, for those kind words. It's truly an honor to sit in this seat. It really is. And as Dr. Edwards said, I've been preparing for this job my entire life. And probably the event that really shifted me in this direction was my mother getting Alzheimer's and forced into that caregiver role, as so many of you may have been as well. And it happened in 2000. We had moved down here to Charlotte, 4 children from elementary through college. Fortunately, my husband worked from home, but totally not prepared for the changes that would have on our lives and the impact on our whole family and our extended family in terms of relationships with siblings. And so it really changed me as a person and really opened my eyes to what the gift my mother gave to me was to change me and grow different muscles that I never had before. I'm certainly more empathetic and more understanding. And even though I run 100 miles an hour, I do operate a little slower than I used to, although nobody here would vouch for that.
No, they would not.
But it really, yeah. So anybody knows me out there is really laughing. It just really changed me as a person. And certainly I never would have wished this disease on my mother, who was the most incredible person. She was brilliant. She was everything to me and to my family. But yet, I'm a very positive person also. And I know that this was a gift she gave me and gave our family. And it was a wonderful life experience for my kids to see that sometimes, life, throws you a bad hand or a difficult hand, and it's how we respond to it that defines us as people and our characters. So it really enables me to really look at this role as really a gift and an opportunity. And it's certainly been some heavy lifting, But I love it. I always love a challenge, and knowing that every day I'm playing a small part in impacting people's lives in a positive way and really making this team shine. I've really never worked with a group of people who were to the person so aligned with this mission and what we do. And there isn't, a mountain they wouldn't climb for Dr. Edwards and his vision and for each and every one of you. So it's really an honor. And I think everybody, aspires to have that opportunity in life to feel like you're really doing something special. So, and we're, really excited about the future. I'm excited that we're where we are. You probably have heard we purchased a building and we'll be moving probably in the first quarter of next year. We've had incredible support and we're excited about it. It's going to add about 2,000 square feet to our offices here, which we desperately need. We have now the opportunity to really expand our services and to really think about how we create even a more, a broader set of services for our families. So it's a really exciting time for us. So it's really great.
Yeah, it sounds like, just based on the knowledge that I have of the practice through some of my engagement with you, it sounds like MMC is really at a critical, exciting juncture. And it sounds like moving into this new facility is really going to allow the practice to continue building on a lot of momentum that's been established and put in place.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really wonderful to look for that, that future and to imagine the possibilities and the ability to just do more and more for our families in the Charlotte community and beyond. So it's a really great place. Southminster, again, has been so generous and such a fantastic partner to Memory Movement Charlotte, and they are sponsoring our Take Charge Live initiative. And Thomas Brewer is with us. A little bit about Southminster and Embrace.
I will. And thank you, Janet and Dr. Edwards. We really value our partnership with Memory Movement. And quickly, just, kind of give for people who aren't familiar with Southminster, we're a nonprofit continuing care retirement community. We provide all levels of care from independent living to assisted living and also skilled care. We have about 440 residents that live here on campus, and we've been here in the Charlotte area since the late 1980s, so we're pretty established in the community. As Janet mentioned, I focus on Embrace Care, and we are Southminster's licensed home care provider. We've been providing home care solutions for 11 years now. And the optimal goal is to deliver a really comprehensive and personalized care plan to improve someone's quality of life, as little as 4 hours per day, all the way up to 24 hours per day. And as someone's needs change. One thing that a lot of people ask is your home care just for your Southminster residents? The answer to that is no. We provide home care not only here at Southminster for many of our residents, but we also provide the home care to many people who live in other communities, many people who choose to age in place at home. So we can be a provider for anyone that really lives within Mecklenburg County. So, that's kind of a snapshot of who we are and what we do. We're going to be on a lot of these calls this year. We're happy to partner with Memory and Movement and with Janet and with Dr. Edwards, and we look forward to continuing that relationship. Any additional information that you need, you can obviously ask anyone at Memory and Movement Charlotte, or you can go to www.southminster.org and find out all information about our service offerings, both on the CCRC side as well as home care.